Good evening, TDN listeners and viewers, as especially my audience on this week in interview. Welcome. It's Wednesday, and it's my the highlight of my week. I get to spend an hour with you. So welcome. Come on in. Share the live. Let folks know that this week's interview is on. I have a very, very, very important topic on tap for us tonight. We certainly need the information that's going to be shared with us tonight. And the more people that you can get to come on, is the better it's going to be, because the more folks who get this information, as we always do, the intention is to have a movement, and the more people we have in the movement, the more effective is the movement. So tonight we'll be talking life insurance. What is your feeling around life insurance? Do you see a benefit in life insurance? Have your opinion of life insurance shifted or changed in recent time? And so tonight we have a guest who is a really insurance professional. He's a financial professional, and he's going to be there sharing with us some expert advice and information about insurance. But in the meantime, if you're listening to us from Nature Island, Dominica, on DigiPlay Channel 59, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you in Dominica are having a good time, no matter where you listening to us from. In the Toronto market, online radio SBE carries this week in interview live. And Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Roku, all of you on here. Give us a like, give us a subscription, hit the notification bell, tighten your belts, get your favorite drink, whatever that is. It might be water, it might be something more interesting. Get it and share the live. And we are going to be right back. And I'm going to introduce you to this special guest that I have, this professional man who is going to give you information that you probably haven't heard before. That is the objective, to introduce you to new ideas about insurance and financial services. We'll be right back. We're back, and I hope that has given you enough time to get something to wet your beak, to lubricate your throat, to loosen those fingers so you can participate. Tonight, as I said, we are talking about life insurance. And it's a good time to talk about it because June is Men's Month. That's the month of Father's Day. And in most of our families, sometimes the father, is still a major breadwinner, or even if he's not, his contribution is significant. And so we are going to talk to an expert in insurance, a professional, I should say, as well, about life insurance, the importance of it. And most people have two negative impressions of insurance. They say it's too expensive, I cannot afford it. And some people say I don't need it because I cannot use it while I'm alive. And when I'm dead, somebody else using it. I'm not interested in that. But that is the old, traditional, outdated mode of insurance. That is still an important function of insurance, because if, God forbid, you go, prematurely, you at least leave something behind to help for your final rights, but also to make it a little easier, that while your folks are grieving your loss, that they have one less thing to worry about in the immediate event of your passing. And so that is the traditional use of insurance. There are also uses of insurance that can occur while you're alive. Your insurance policy can be a financial tool that you can leverage for your use. But I'm not the expert, so I'm going to bring the expert on. His name is Mr. Havis Terrance Bardouille. Um, and we we are having some feedback. But that's his great entrance, with whistles and bells and all of that.
I think I'm in. I think I'm in. I fixed it.
You are in, you're in, you're in.
Can you hear me? Yes.
I can
I
hear you loud
actually,
and clear.
your producer, I was trying to log on a different computer and I think I fixed it. Let me get the lighting right for you guys. I think I fixed it and we'll be able to go that route, sir.
But we can hear you loud and clear. You have a little bit of lighting issues, but not lighting per se that you will not properly light it. Your virtual background is a little bit, yeah. But
Apologize.
yeah, all right, Mr. Bardouille. Tonight the tables are turned. Last night I was your guest on Tuesdays with Terrance. Um, Tonight you are my guest, and I'm honored that you are on here, bringing your expertise and your knowledge in the financial sector, insurance in particular, and our audience are well primed and lined up to hear from you. So very warm welcome to you on this week in interview.
I want to thank you so much, first of all, for the invite. We've been talking about it for a while, and you finally made it happen. So I'm really grateful, and thank you for last night being on the show. It was very successful. I do apologize to your listeners for the virtual background issue. We had a little technical difficulties, and I do apologize. But the knowledge that I have to share tonight will be paramount. So the virtual background issue will not be that much of an issue. All you got to do is listen to my voice as I tell you a little bit about insurance.
Yeah, certainly we can, that's not an issue. We can hear you clearly and we can see your handsome face. So those are the two things that count. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So since it's the first time on this weekend interview, I'll give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to my wonderful audience.
Okay. Well, first of all, I must say I'm from Waiti Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica, the enclave of Point Michel, aka La Pointe. I'm a very proud Point Michel guy. As you know, Mr. Drago, I'm very brash. So I say La Pointe is the conduit to excellence in Dominica. You're like, what do you mean? Eugenia Charles from La Pointe, Dale Dangleben from La Pointe, Havis Bardouille from La Pointe, Matt from Q95 La Pointe. I'm just saying that as a joke, guys, but on a serious.
But don't forget Point Michel girls now.
No, I was just about to sing that. Sweet, sweet in the waist. I have a little story about that. We might talk about that. But also, Point Michel is a great enclave, a little fishing village. And I'm very glad I noticed guys from Point Michel. Some of them were my relatives who played on the national team, the football team. So I left a long time ago, but let me just tell you quickly about me. I'm a Dominican, very proud one. I left before Dominica was independent. As a matter of fact, I just started grammar school, and I left, and then you came, Drago, so I missed you. But most importantly, even though I'm here in the United States for almost 50 years, Dominica is home. It will always be home. I may not be as educated about Dominica now, like in politics or in infrastructure, like I should, but I believe I have people like Drago who can help me that. But basically tonight, I'm looking forward to having a candid conversation with your audience. And thank you so much again for the invite.
Well, certainly. And I'm going to take a minute and give you probably Point Michel greatest claim to fame when it comes to Point Michel girls. Soca music is the result of Point Michel.
Yes,
How is that, right? Now, the first soca song was created in Dominica.
Really?
With people like Chris Serafin and so doing the bass line. Lord Shorty had some friends in Dominica, so he went to spend some time in Dominica with them, and he used to go to the band house and practice with them. And he
Uh-huh.
heard the Kadas rhythm. At the time, Kadas was popular, and they blended it, and he he had a little, he got a little Pon Michelle girlfriend in the meantime. And so the first soca song that was written was that song Udima Ipiti Shorty, Udima Ipiti
EPT
Umati.
Umati.
Right.
Pabete mo shorty.
That
Mugapeli
was about
kipushene.
that was about his experience with Point Michelle girl.
What? I didn't know that.
So he went back to Trinidad and introduced his band guys to that rhythm and that bass line. And they had to send back to Dominica for Chris Seraphin and those guys to put the drums and the bass line on. And that's how soca music came about. Soca, the SO in soca is the end of calypso, and the CA is kadas, is the blend
Right.
of calypso and kadas. So yeah, so that's the greatest claim to fame for
Wow,
Michelle, for
man, I
Michelle.
just learned something today, man, and I am excited. Thank you for that.
But anyhow, enough of the C will talk. We had we had to talk financial stuff. Um, Tell us about your background in the financial services and particularly insurance, because that's what we're here for. Um, I consider you a professional. That's what you do for a living, and I think you have a wealth of information that you can share. And always is tight to pack everything in, but we're going to do our best. So give folks a little background of you, Havis
Well,
Badwill, the financial insurance professional.
Mr. Havis Badville, right? I have a little
Havis
gray,
Badwill.
so I can look distinguished. People say I look younger than my age, but I'll be
You
60
do.
this year. I started in banking in Boston back in 1985 at Brookline Savings Bank. I started there, and then I want to say matriculated to, which was Bank of Boston, Merchants Bank, which became Bank of America. So I was a banker for a long time,
Mhm.
from 85 until 92. And then, I left banking and I went on the educational sector. I worked at Lesley University. I worked at MIT. MIT has a program, and BU, Boston University in Boston, from the Department of Education called the TRIO, Educational Talent Search, Upward Bound. So I worked with that at MIT for about a year, helping first generation, minorities get into post-secondary education for their future. So we had students who were students at MIT, whether it's Boston College, Carnegie Mellon, you name it. They were HBCUs, they went all over. So I was quite instrumental in that. And then I left that, and then I went back to financial services. I was a financial rep at Evergreen Funds, which is the mutual fund arm of Wells Fargo. I was there for a year or two. Then I went over to Sun Life of Canada, based in Canada, but the U.S. operation was based in Wellesley, Massachusetts. So I got on the annuity side, all right? And based on the annuity side, I started wholesaling annuities. So my background is an annuity, and basically an annuity is just a contract between an insurance company and an individual that promises to pay an income you can never outlive. So I was wholesaling those for a while, and then after I left there, I was doing 5 to 9 college savings plans with You Promise Investments out of Needham, Massachusetts. Then I got recruited to work at General Financial in Richmond, Virginia. So I left my family in Boston, and then I came to Virginia, and as a wholesaler, wholesaling that to the broker dealer houses. And then I left that, went to Bankers Life. I was there for about 10 years working in the senior market. And then after Bankers, I came on to American Classic Agency. You can see in the background, the company that cares, where I'm doing my own thing now. I own my own business called BFS Financial Services, Bardouille Financial Services, where I help people with income protection, debt elimination, and legacy creation. A lot of people look at insurance.
That's slowly. What are the three things you specialize in?
Income protection, protecting your income,
Uh huh.
debt elimination, eliminating debt while paying yourself, and legacy creation. Because in the Bible, in Proverbs, it says that a good man, and when they say a good man, they're not talking about a man, they mean mankind, man or woman. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And unfortunately, in the African American community, we don't look at it that way. Sometimes for some of us, long-term planning is Saturday night. Where's the CWO at, right? But basically, if you look at our counterparts, the Caucasians, the East Indians, you know, even the Hispanics are doing it, you know, you name it, they're doing it, and they're passing it down from generation to generation. So it's my goal and my desire at our agency this year to put 1.5 billion transferable wealth back into our communities. Last year, we did 1.2 billion, and basically 1.1 billion, we put that back into our community. So I'm trying to do that again. And I want to make sure that everyone who's listening, I don't care if you're in America, Canada, Europe, or the Caribbean, you have to think about creating generational wealth. And it starts with you, even though you were not a person who was rich.
I like that. So income protection, debt elimination, legacy creation, leaving something not just for your children, but your children's children. Do you want to handle each one of those individually?
Sure. Let's start with the income protection, right? So, for example, you know, I know, Drago, you are an engineer by trade. And let's say you're working for a corporation, right? Whether it's in construction or real estate or whatever, right? And you're working there, you have a 401k or whatever. But what if you get sick? You have a critical or chronic illness and you cannot work anymore. And you have a family, or even you don't have a family. How are you going to get paid? You're going to say, well, I can get a short-term disability or long-term disability. And well, what if they get rid of you after that? Then you have to apply for disabilities to the U.S. government, right? Because we're talking about here in the United States, right?
Right.
But the important thing about it is this: you got to qualify. In the interim, you got bills. You got a mortgage. You got car loans. You got student loans, credit cards, you know, personal loans. What if it's cancer and you need treatment and you need to go to the Mayo Clinic? You need to travel. You know, you want to try something exploratory. What if you want to do that? Where is the funds are going to come from? Well, the insurance you have on your job, you don't own it. You're renting it. All right. So you should always have insurance as an asset. So on that income protection, what it does, it protects your income if you have a critical illness, a critical injury, a chronic illness, terminal illness, and things also like Alzheimer's. You know how expensive it is for long-term care in New York where you are? It's over $100,000 a year, bro. So how are you going to afford that? Where are you going to get the money? You're going to go into your savings? How many people have $100,000 they can access? The average American do not have $500 in the bank they can go access right now for an emergency. And it's sad. And the average American, now what if we take it back to the average African American? They might not have $100. Some of them are making $100,000 and living paycheck to paycheck. So the key here is to protect your income with income protection while you're also paying yourself. That's what everybody needs to do, and everybody can do it. And let me tell you something, bro, that you don't know. The wealthy do it. The Rockefellers do it. Walt Disney did it. J.C. Penney did it. Ray Kroc from McDonald's fame did it. Why can't you do it? The wealthy will never tell you. The government will never tell you, and the banks will never tell you. So we teach you how to become a bank, and we teach you how to use a concept that's called infinite banking concept. And we'll touch about that a little later.
Right. But so income protection, what I'm getting from you is really a hedge against ensuring you can maintain your lifestyle.
Exactly. While you are sick with a critical or chronic illness.
Yes.
Drago, check this out. You making $100,000 a year as an engineer. You know what your human value is? Your human value, Drago, is $2 million. That's 20 times your annual income. So that's for 20 years. Most people don't have a week's save. So what if you have children? So what if you have life insurance? This is the topic tonight. And you have a $25,000 policy and you die. That's not going to pay the mortgage.
Barely pays the funeral expenses.
It's not going to pay the car notes. What if you had a $60,000 car or $50,000 or $40,000 car? What if you have kids that have to go to college? And even if you had $100,000, what house costs $100,000 nowadays in New York City or in Massachusetts, in Boston? It doesn't. So right. my point here, you got to protect your income and you got to make sure there's enough, especially if you have a family.
Right. Wow. I mean, I like the opening over, so to speak. I like the opening salvo. Debt elimination is the next item that you have, broad item that you spoke about. Let's talk about that, debt elimination.
So in America, right? Do you know what the national debt is approximately, Drago? Just give me a figure. Tell me a penny. Tell me $1 million. What is the U.S. debt right now?
What is it? It's like 1 point something trillion, no?
Well, we wish.
I haven't paid attention in a while, but I know it's up there.
All right.
Yeah.
It's 30 something times that. It's almost 34 trillion.
34
over
trillion.
34 trillion.
Oh, wow.
So the average American have over $168,000 in debt. We're talking about mortgage. We're talking about student loans, credit cards, car loans. So therefore, if you are in debt, most people think about debt consolidation. You may hear of, Peace University with Dave Ramsey. You may hear about these different programs. But let me ask you a question, sir. Do you want to eliminate your debt and be broke? Or do you want to eliminate your debt and have wealth? So basically, if you ask me the question, I want to eliminate my debt and have wealth. So most people, when they pay off debt, they don't pay themselves. You pay the car place, the mortgage place, the credit card place, the bank place. You're paying everybody, but you're not paying yourself. A lot of people hate Trump and they hate a lot of people who are wealthy, right? I don't hate him. I may not stand his politics, but learn what they do. Drago, learn OPM. You know what OPM stands for?
I know.
Remember the song, You Done With OPP? No. OPM stands for other people's money.
That's right.
So that's what the wealthy does. I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, right? And the New England Patriots, I remember when Robert Kraft purchased the Patriots. And there was one time he was planning on moving it to Connecticut. You know why he was trying to do that? Because the state of Connecticut was giving him bigger tax breaks. So all these big stadiums that you see, these billionaires, they don't pay for it. They get all these tax breaks. They're using your money and everybody else's money. They're using OPM, other people's money. You, the average consumer, you could be John Doe making 40 grand a year, 50 grand, 60, 80 grand. You have a mortgage, student loans, credit cards, car loan, equity line of credit, all of these loans. I can teach you how to get out of debt in a 30-year mortgage in 10 years or less without spending any additional money that you're spending right now. And guess what? While you're doing that, you're paying yourself and you're creating generational wealth. And what happens, I just told you what the Bible says, it's not for you, but for your children's children. The good thing is that the wealthy do it. Why can't you do it? Some of us don't know. And one of the things that bothers me as a financial person or financial planner is that I see people sharing stuff of people that they don't know. And it used to bother me. It doesn't bother me anymore because my clients know that I am qualified to get them out of debt. I am qualified to create legacies for them. However, a legacy for you might be different from me. So eliminate your debt while paying yourself. And guess what? You're doing all of that by using OPM, other people's money. And that's the concept that almost everybody got debt. There's very few people who have zero debt. And the ones who have it, they don't want to learn. What they do is they're Googling stuff. and they watch a TikTok video, or they watch a reel on Instagram or Facebook, but that's not education. Yeah, you may see the reel, but you got to know someone who does it and who can actually help you. If you don't, like I just asked you the question, what's your human value? Most people don't know. And in our communities, we're getting this $5,000, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 policies. No, man. You're making 50 grand, times that times 20. You're making 100 grand, times that times 20. You're making 400 grand, times that 20. That's what you're worth. And
that's what you should be insured for.
Exactly. And that is debt elimination, bro. That's how we do it. We can eliminate your debt while you're creating wealth at the same time. And what happens, most people they've heard about the snowball effect. You know how a snowball works? You get a small, and it gets bigger and bigger as it comes.
As it rolls along, it adds stuff to it.
Well, with the debt elimination, you start with the small one, right?
Right.
When you eliminate that, the amount that you were paid to the debt, you start paying it back to yourself.
Right.
To eliminate the next debt and the next debt. And every family is different. All right. Everybody, I have clients with hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank. I have clients who are broke. But it doesn't matter where you are. If you have debt, you can eliminate your debt. And there's a way we can show you how to do that. But most people, they don't want to learn those concepts. Most people want to do what they've been doing, and it's called insanity, doing the same thing over and over and you know, get any different results. So let's teach you how to create that wealth for your family while paying yourself.
Wow. Powerful. Now,
yes,
we're at 8:29. So before we go to the third leg, I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about legacy creation, and we're going to handle some of the barriers that people, imaginary barriers, but they're real to people. Some people have fear, some people have shame, some people have whatever it is that prevents them from saying, hey, Terrance, you know, I need your help. You know, everybody feels like they should be doing better. They should be able to figure it out for themselves. Why haven't I been able to figure it out? So we're going to take our quick break. It's perfect time for that. And when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Mr. Havis Bardouille of Bardouille Financial Services. He's taking us to school tonight. It's financial university time. It looks like we have to bring him back to already. I know that, to really repeat the message, because I like the way that he was breaking it down. He's putting it down into bite-sized and digestible format that we can educate ourselves and bring maximum benefit to what we do. So quick break, don't go anywhere, but invite more people to come on, because everybody should be hearing what we're talking about today.
Amen.
Invite more people to come on. Let them know that we're having this brilliant conversation tonight on This Week in Interview. A quick word from our sponsors.
Yes, sir.
Presented by. People say I've got a great smile. Well, I have to say, this is all thanks to the professional team at Beacon Dental Group right here in Dorchester, Massachusetts. I've got world-class dental care. Beacon Dental Group has expert and caring staff dedicated to providing the most advanced and satisfactory treatment in all aspects of oral health. Their services are designed to meet your needs and give you a perfect smile, too. General checkups, cosmetic surgery, Gemini laser service, and advanced procedures, all in a state-of-the-art facility. Call or visit Beacon Dental Group today, 1026 Blue Hill Avenue, Dorchester, Massachusetts, or call 617-282-2146 for a smile that lights the world.
How much Dominican history do you know? Want to learn some fun facts? We have a great and fun way to test your knowledge and learn more about our history. Get your copy of Dominic Anu, Dominica in Puzzle. Fun for the whole family. Available now on Amazon.com. Visit pushpast10.com to learn more. Email us at dominicainpuzzle@gmail.com or call 877-698-9894. Looking to promote your business, engage current customers, and reach new people? Well, look no further. From the basic presentation to a fully fledged advertisement, use your video ads to attract customers. At Man's Audiovisual Productions, we do just that. We produce videos for business and event promotions, product demo videos, animated explainer videos, fundraiser ads, and much, much more. Engage your clients and sell online. We customize the video to match your brand design. Guaranteed to play flawless on all devices, including smart TVs. Contact us at telephone number 203-690-4342 or 767-245-6238. Visit our website, mansaudiovisual.com, or email us at derekvideo@gmail.com.
First through the break, and thank you to our sponsors. And of course, my guest tonight is Mr. Havis Terrance Bardouille of Bardouille Financial Services. And in the first half of the program, he's really been opening our eyes. As I said in my intro, some of us still think of insurance in the old traditional way where you buy a little policy and God forbid something happened to you, your family gets some money to bury you and maybe you pay a little debt and so on. But nowadays, with so much more transactional activity going on in our lives, we need a little more than that. And so insurance has grown and insurance has adapted so that it can meet the needs of a modern person, a modern family. And Mr. Bardouille, he heard his background in banking, in annuities. He's been in financial services forever. He's really a professional expert in the field. And just in the way he's articulated the services that he offers already give good credence to the fact that he is a financial professional. We spoke about income protection in the sense that if something were to happen to you, that you cannot go to work, what happens to your lifestyle? What happens to the lifestyle of your loved ones? When we say lifestyle, we don't necessarily mean that you go on vacations, 3-4 vacations a year, but that would be nice if you could do that. If, let's say, you would get sick and you couldn't go to work, and in that moment you could go to Dominica so you can eat fresh fruits and go on the beach every day and rejuvenate yourself and recover quicker. What if you could do that while you could not work because you happen to have something in place that protects your income, protects your lifestyle? And then you spoke about debt elimination, but I like what he said. You don't make yourself broke to eliminate your debt. You grow your way out of your debt. So by the time you eliminate the debt, you're wealthier than where you were when you started off. Those are innovative and modern concepts about, well, it's modern to us. As he said, the wealthy has been using it all along. But now we are getting access to some of those services. And we should take advantage of it. So the third leg of your services, Bardouille Financial Services, BFS, is legacy creation. And he said that when we talk about legacy, we're not talking about something that you leave for your 3 children to fight over. For one thing, you shouldn't leave it in a format where they have to fight for it. And you shouldn't leave it in a format where most of it get dissipated in taxes and so on. But you leave it in a format where not only they benefit, but their children, so in other words, your grandchildren benefit. And if you do it right, they will learn the system so that their grandchildren will benefit. And so let's talk about that legacy creation.
You know, one of the first things I want to say is do your research and talk to someone who's knowledgeable about what they're talking about. There are some companies out there, and I won't call their names because it's not apropos to do that. It's not kosher. You know, there's different forms of insurances, okay? You have the term that you get for, you know, you're securing a mortgage or a boat or a student loan or something like that. Or when you're younger, your disposable income is not as much, so you can get the bigger bang for your buck. Then you have the whole life, you know, that you put a set amount every month and that can't change, you know, and you build cash value as well. Then you have the index universal life or the variable universal life. The variable index universal life is basically the ones where you use securities, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and so on and so on. But the index, you have the universal life and the index universal life. And that's one of the tools that I use. Now, all of them can work for legacy creation because I'm going to come back to the Rockefellers in a minute, right? But the index universal life, I like it because if you properly fund it and structure it properly, you can overfund it. You can actually target fund it, and you can actually use it while you're alive. So legacy creation, let's talk about that. What the Rockefellers do, we know J.D. Rockefeller built his wealth through oil, Standard Oil, you know, and when he died, he was one of the richest men in the world. I think if J.D. Rockefeller was alive today, and back then, we have billionaires, they say he would have been doggone worth about almost $1 trillion in today's money, right? But what the Rockefellers do is that, and we can do this. I have a client, I won't call her name, but if she's watching, she would probably say it. I explained to her, you are a mother. Your daughter got married and your daughter has a baby. You know what the wealthy do? 2 weeks after that baby is born, they get a cash value life insurance policy and they fund it as much as they can, right? Because there's guidelines that the IRS provides. And they fund that so that they can access the cash. And when someone dies, because there's a trust, by the way, everybody don't have a trust, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Because life insurance is basically a poor man's trust. What do you mean by a poor man's trust? Doesn't mean you're poor. You cannot contest a beneficiary of a life insurance policy. You can contest the will. You cannot contest the trust. You can't sue a trust, okay? Because the trust, you see, like what the Rockefellers do is they don't own anything, but they control everything. So Drago, if there was a way for you to control everything, you can put your car, your house, your life insurance policies, everything into a trust, a living trust. And there's an executor and a successor executor in case, you know, something happens to you. Now, if you cannot do that and you have life insurance, God forbid something happens to you. Like just before I came on, I was helping a young lady in Maryland with a $1.2 million plan. That's what I'm creating for her right now. You know, because her human value, she makes about 58 grand a year. So 57 grand times 20 is about 1.2 million, right? So basically I'm trying to show her, hey, listen, right now, if you can't work, you're not married, you're still young, you have no children, what is $25,000 going to do for you? Let's put that in place for you so that when you get married, or if you get married, or if you have children, and by the way, you don't have to get married, but if you do, and something happens to you, That's what the Caucasians and the East Indians and the Asians do. They pass it down from generation to generation. The problem with a lot of people who look like me and you, Drygo, you own a home and you die and they sell it because they want the money. What the Rockefellers do is when you die, the trust is the beneficiary. So the money goes back into the pool. And when they want monies to create stuff to sponsor, I don't know, Rockefeller Center, the Rockets, or whatever it is that they're doing, they just pull money out. And guess what? Tax-free.
Tax-free.
You see, you don't have, listen, man, what's killing me here is simply this. You don't have to be smart to know how to do it. You just have to know where to go. And what I try to do, I try to educate my clients on these concepts so that they can make the right decisions. You can ball if you want to. Now the rappers are doing it. Some of the athletes are learning about it. And people are sending me videos. I just made a post on social media a couple of days ago or yesterday. I don't remember. People sending me videos about what I've been teaching. I was insulted. It's like me trying to tell Michael Jordan and LeBron James how to play basketball. So I sent them a YouTube video. And these are people I've been telling these things to for years. But they got to see Waka Flocka do it. Waka Flocka, the rapper. They got to see millionaires doing it. Guess what? Your President Biden got over 7 of them. All of them in Congress got it. But they ain't telling you about it. Why? Why? You see, wealthy people don't tell you what they're doing. You got to do the research. You got to study for yourself. And guess what? You need to teach your kids so your kids can teach their kids. And wouldn't it be nice, Drygo, if are your parents alive?
No.
Let's say your parents, I don't care if it was Dominico or here, and God forbid one of them passed or both passed, and all your siblings were able to get about $250,000 cash, tax-free. What could that have done for you to help build a business? If you said you're into construction and real estate, what if you want to start a real estate firm? And that's what they do. Why can't we do that? I'm not telling people not to be entrepreneurs. Don't cut hair and don't fry chicken and don't do this. I don't do any of that stuff. This is all I do. I don't have any other job. So I teach people how to create wealth. And remember, it's not just for the wealthy. People like me and you can do it as well. Right. And you can pass it down from generation to generation.
No, what I can hear some people saying is that insurance is expensive. Or they might be saying that by the time I pay my mortgage, my car note, I buy food, all I have left is a little bit of money to save. Where do I get that income so I can participate in what you're teaching us?
That's a very good question. First of all, everybody needs to have a budget. My client I was just talking to, I asked them if they have a budget. They say, yeah. I said, pull it out. They told me it's in their head. That's not a budget.
That's not a budget, right?
You got to write it down. You don't need a complicated Excel spreadsheet. Write it down on a piece of paper. All right? And she said to me, well, what about my taking care of my women needs? She mean like a manicure, pedicure, massages.
Yeah,
I said, you budget that in.
Right.
And if it's not in your budget, you can't do it. So budget it in. I'm not telling you not to do it. And then everybody want to save in the bank. So guess what? Fractional reserve. This is what the banks do. You put $100 in the bank, or you put $10 in the bank. They take $7 of that and they start lending it out to everybody for cars, student loans, mortgages, motorcycles, boat loans, everything. And they pay you chicken feed, right? Less than 0.25% or whatever it is. So you say, oh, I got a high interest online account. But guess what? Drygo, if I came to your house, you told me you live in New York, you didn't shovel your stairs in the snow time and I fell, I could sue you. You got $100,000 in the bank, my attorneys can find that. You own your business, it's not protected in a trust. the former president, he's always suing people. Anybody suing him? His stuff is protected. But you can do the same thing as well. And what I'm saying here, folks, a lot of us think that we have to have billions and millions of dollars for us to use these concepts. No, we don't. Almost everybody owns a home or owns something. If you have life insurance, the beneficiary is protected. I told you that before. You cannot sue a beneficiary, contest it. You can't will. You cannot sue or contest a trust. So I know people, I have clients, their homes are worth 500, 600,000. I have a client I keep talking about. As a matter of fact, I talked to her today. She's in Philly. Her home is paid for, her car is paid for. Today's Wednesday. By Friday, she can have $2 million cash. But it's protected. You can't see it. Why can't we do that? We can. Folks, I don't want to make it sound that everybody has $1 million or $2 million. You have to build it organically, brick by brick. And even you said a great question. Well, I paid all my bills. I don't have money to save. Don't save it in the bank. Save it in cash value life insurance. And then you can access it tax-free. How does that work? We don't have time on the show to do that. You know, you get in touch with me. We can show you how to do that. It's very simple. Very, very simple. That's what we do.
So one of the persons in the audience is Miss Maslin Edwards.
Yes.
The insurance agent.
And I know out of Jersey. Out of Jersey.
Out of Jersey. So Maslin is the organizer of an exposition on Saturday. It's called the Dominican Diaspora Art and Craft.
She invited me to that.
And now she's asking you, is it too late to say yes? Come do a presentation.
Let me tell her that. You know what? Maslin knows, everybody who knows that I am a Seventh-day Adventist, right?
Oh, okay.
But listen. But that thing, it's usually in the spring and summer where it goes. And I've seen them. They have food. They have one of Annette Phillips who was on there. I've seen her on there. They have a bunch of people there. Now, if it goes into the nighttime, you know, I'm willing. And I've done that same presentation at my church on Saturday as well. And it's educating people. And Maslin, I promise you that I can't come this Saturday. But let's talk about it. And actually, she's my Facebook friend, and I will send her a personal text. And maybe we could figure out something, because what's happening here is that a lot of our people, especially Caribbean folk, all we know is banks, credit unions and banks. Some of them talk about, oh yeah, I got a 401k, great. Well, there's an alternative way, something that's better than a 401k. You can be just like the wealthy. So I don't want to answer that question to her. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to her right after this. I'm going to send her a text on Messenger, and we'll figure out something. Because I think if it's education, and I want to make this very clear, it's okay to do good on the Sabbath day. I just won't sell. I just won't, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we will talk about that. Tell her we can talk about that.
Okay. Because why that is important is because Maslin basically has a group of entrepreneurs. I think she has up to maybe 30 tables, 30 individual young business people who can benefit from some of that knowledge in terms of growing a financial reserve that can help them to expand their business.
This is what I could do for her.
Yeah.
Tonight and tomorrow morning, I'll make some calls with some of my colleagues in the Jersey area, because I have some colleagues out there, and they're my business partners. And it's kind of late, and she did tell me, but she was in my DM and she told me about it, and it totally slipped my mind because it was Sabbath. But I do have business partners. Maslin, I think we might get it to work. let me work on it right after this, and by tomorrow, we'll work on that.
Right. Okay. So some folks that people that need your help the most are the people who probably are not doing as well as they think they should financially, and therefore there's a certain amount of shame that they badly going to think, I'm a failure, I'm a loser, I should, how comes I don't have this, how comes I have this, what a mess this is, and so on. Some people are fearful because maybe they've seen some charlatans that have taken advantage of them before. I want you to speak directly to folks who are hesitant for whatever reason to reach out, because what I'm hearing you say is that if you're not an expert, don't assess it yourself. If you don't feel well, you're not going to sit in front of your mirror and try to diagnose yourself.
Right.
If your car is making a noise, you're not going to go outside in your driveway and try to diagnose your car yourself and say, man, whatever. You're going to bring it to a mechanic, you're going to go to a doctor. So no matter what you think your financial situation is, no matter whether you think, well, at the end of the month, at the time I pay everything, I have to put stuff on credit card because I don't have enough money. Even if you are in that situation, especially if you're in that situation, I would just suggest that those are the people who really should give you a call and get an assessment and a diagnosis from a professional like you.
That's a great question. I wrote down two things you say. Some people have fear and some people are ashamed. And I know that for a fact. I'm a problem solver. You see, a lot of people think I'm an insurance agent, right? Or they think I'm a financial professional. I am that. I'm licensed. But I'm a problem solver. Sometimes I can give you a couple of tips right now. Right? And my consultation doesn't cost anything. All right. The only time I charge you $500 is if you ghost me, because my time is valuable. Mm-hmm. You see, like tonight, when I couldn't get in, I called you. My time was valuable, right? Because I was doing a $1.2 million case, right? But check this out, Drago. Let's use you for an example, so anyone think we're talking about them. So you're maxed out on everything that you're doing, right? I would take a look at what you're spending and on what. First thing, one of the things I'd say to you is, hey, Drago, your deductible on your car is $250. Why? You might tell me, in case I have an accident. Well, Drago, when last you had an accident? I never had an accident ever. Oh, but you could have one tomorrow, and the state mandates that you have insurance, right? Drago, let's make you have some money saving in the bank, not much, but you're saving something. Let's make your deductible $1,500 or $2,000. Remember, I told you the average American don't have $500 saved. But if your deductible was $2,000 or $1,500, your premium would go down.
Right.
And that's some money you could find to start putting towards insurance. And the money that you save, when you get, if you have an accident down the road, you can access some of the cash value to pay your deductible. Drago, you've had your house for years, but you could refinance. Some people are scared of refinancing because they want to pay off that house. Well, who said you have to pay off that house? You know what? Refinance it, and then let's get into the get out of debt program. And the money that you save, you use that to get out of debt. You see, there's a plethora of things that I could show you, but this is not the forum for it. I can't give you everything that I know in an hour's time. We got like 5 minutes left.
But this is important because it tells.
I agree.
It tells
people. I just gave a couple of tips.
Exactly.
So basically, what we do is, like the young lady who told me she had a budget. Well, I found out she already had something with another company where she was paying about $213.28 for about $500,000. And I said, you've been in the last 10 years, and plus she's saving $100 a month. I said, in the last 10 years, 4 years, you've paid over $10,000 and you have nothing to show for it. Wouldn't it be great if you were accumulating some cash that you could access? And if you get sick, your income is protected. Let me tell you something. All insurance policies, I want to make it very clear, are not the same. If it doesn't have living benefits, you might have to replace it. I'm not saying you have to. You may have to replace it. And let me tell you something, folks. If you die and your insurance is in place, it will pay, because after 2 years, it's non-contestable. But it depends on what you want to accomplish. And everyone does not have the same issues. If you're a small business and you have a business partner, let's say Drago, you and your producer own this radio company, and you needed a buy-sell agreement. What's that? It means, Drago, if you die, your business partner can continue the show hosted by someone else because they have the capital to do it, and vice versa. So there's a plethora of things that can be done, but you have to build it, like I said, organically, brick by brick, step by step. And let me tell you, folks, do what you can afford, and then you add to it.
Right.
Because one day, if you get sick and you cannot get it, because health is wealth, you're using your health as equity. It's like a house. You have an equity line of credit. You use your credit. But guess what? With that equity line of credit, you still need the bank's permission to get the money. Not with an infinite banking concept. You need nobody's permission. The cash is available. You can use
yours. And it's yours. Truly yours. You know, I mean, brilliant. I like what we did tonight. I think we put it down in front of people. Folks, you don't have to have $700 to buy a policy. Mr. Bardouille is talking about paying $200, $150.
$50, whatever you can afford at
That's
the time.
where you can afford, and then as you build and you understand, and
You add more.
guide you add to that. And the other thing we can handle is, some people think that they're too young. They're still young, so they don't need it. And some people think that they're too old. It's too late to try to build it. How do you respond to that?
Well, actually, the great thing about this concept, the younger you are, the better. That person I was talking about, this Dominican in New Jersey, and she doesn't mind. She's a nurse. She don't mind. She'll tell it. She said it on social media before. When her daughter was 2 weeks, she called me, and she put something in place. When her granddaughter is my age, she's a millionaire, tax-free. I'm not even 60 yet. Mm-hmm. My point is, it's not how much, it's what you can afford. And if you're too old, guess what? You can still use one of your younger people, use their life to create the infinite banking concept. I have a client right now who is 69, but he has some health challenges. We use his 20-year-old granddaughter for the infinite banking concept, where we dropping $1,500 a month into it. And the good thing about it, you have a hardship, you can stop for a little while, you can go down, you can go up, you can dump. When you get your taxes, don't go buying a car and all that crap and taking a vacation. Dump it in there, so that when you go on vacation, you use your credit card, you pay for it, and when you come back, you take it out of your cash value, and then you pay yourself back. I can teach you these concepts, and guess what? You're always paying yourself. A lot of you all got a lot of money. A lot of you all got a lot of credit. A lot of you all are making a lot of money. But guess what? You're not using it wisely because you just don't know. I'm not mad at you. All you got to do is do the research, talk to someone who knows what they're talking about, and help them guide you. And I know Dominicans, I have clients who are Dominicans who will never tell anybody they're my client, because they say Dominicans are too nosy. That's neither here or there. That doesn't bother me. If my client doesn't want that, that's fine. I don't even do client testimonials on social media, but I have some clients who will do it. I have a client in New Hampshire. I'm going to call her after my client tonight. She wants to talk to me. The point is, it doesn't matter how much you have. Let's start somewhere. And Drago, we got to do this again, because there wasn't enough time.
No, there was enough time for this, because we don't want to give people too much stuff in one time. This is enough that they can digest. We definitely need to have you back, and I think we can have you back on a regular basis, because this is so important.
Sure.
You know what I mean? This is so important that we can have you back on a regular basis, because people have to hear something 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times.
Sometimes 10 times.
10 times for them to sink in and for them to take action. You know? And a lot of folks are passing away now. You know, we wonder what's going on, why it seems to be happening more. Whatever the reason, l- let every sad situation have a silver lining. Let's create that silver lining in case there's a sad situation.
There's a great question there. It says, what about people with pre-existing complications? We can help them as well. Let me tell you something. There's something you can do what's called a second to die. It's called survivorship. There's a bunch of things we can do. Let me tell you, I just had a cousin who passed in New Jersey on a bike accident last weekend. Condolences to the Bardouille family, Bardouille's son, right? But check this out. Check this out. Well, I saw the beautiful kid that he has. I'm not saying he didn't prepare. What I'm saying here is that everybody should prepare because life happens. And you don't get it because you're going to die. You get it because your loved ones are going to live.
Right. That sounds like a good place to live it. You don't get it because you're going to die. You get it because your loved ones are going to live.
That's right.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. I mean, you brought your best game, I think. I don't know what else you have, but certainly you showed that it's for everybody, no matter your age, no matter your current circumstances, no matter your work situation. We can find $50 to start something, and we can show that with time, you will be surprised at where it takes you. So we'll bring you back. We'll bring you back definitely, but I think tonight was enough. We've whetted the appetite. We've shown where it can take you, and so I'm going to let you go back to your client. I appreciate you taking the pause to come and educate us, and wish you all the best. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers who are on the live.
And something quickly, Drago. I saw some commercials on there, and we'll talk about that offline. Maybe I should be sponsoring this show as well.
I love that idea. We can partner. We can partner.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it. No, certainly. Thank you so much, man, for coming on. And
God bless you.
I appreciate your generosity in what you offer. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night. So listeners, there you have it. Just as I thought, really good education, good advice, and who better to get it from than our own, because they understand us. We see each other. There are some folks who are socialized, not any fault of their own. They're socialized to see us differently. But that factor disappears when we're getting it from our own. And as he says, do your due diligence if you have to, but take advantage of the knowledge and the information that Mr. Havis Bad will give us tonight. I forgot to ask him for his contact info. So let's bring him back up quickly, and he can tell us his contact info so that you can contact him. So tell me how is the best way to contact you?
Sure, you can do it in a plethora of ways. I'm on social media, obviously, as Havis Bardouille. If you're from Dominica, Bardouille. If you're in America, Bardouille. My Facebook, Havis Bardouille or Bardouille. On Facebook, or Bardouille Financial Services as well. You can hit me up in a DM. I'm on Instagram, BFS Financial. I am on, Havis Bardouille on LinkedIn. I'm on TikTok, BFS Financial. I'm on WhatsApp. And my phone number, my office is 434-535-6099. 434-535-6099. And some of you in the diaspora of America, other countries, you have family members here. I'm on WhatsApp as well. Area code 864-607-1361. And always my last name, Bardouille Financial Services @gmail.com. And you know what? You can go on my website, bfsfinancial.com, bfsfinancial.com. You can go on my website, learn a little bit more about me and what I do. And let me tell you something, folks. Don't be bashful. Information that I talk to you about always stays confidential. But listen, my job is not to eliminate what you've done. I want to know where you at, where you want to go, and I want to create a plan to get you there. I will never undo what you've done. I will just augment what you need to protect you. And the only way I'd remove what you've done. Is if it's not beneficial to you anymore, if you're wasting money, then I would make a recommendation. But it's always your call, and I will reach out to Maslin and Mr. Drygo. I thank you for your time. God bless you, and continue doing a good job like you're doing.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. All right, folks. So now you have it. You have all the information that you need. Give Mr. Bardouille a call. Send him a text. Go on Facebook. Send him a message. You can find him. I think it'd be worth your while, even if you think that you may not want it right now. Just get some knowledge about finances from him. He obviously has been in, immersed and steeped in that field, so yeah, he can help you. And folks, remember, June is Men's Month, Father's Day month. Make an appointment to go to your doctor to do your annual checkups. If you haven't done a colonoscopy for a while, schedule a colonoscopy. But every year you should be doing a prostate check, not just a blood test. You should actually go to a doctor and get your prostate checked. You should do your blood work. You should be checking your blood pressure regularly, your blood sugar regularly. You check your testosterone level, check your hormone level, check your thyroids. We want you healthy so that you can enjoy all of this wealth that Mr. Badwill is going to help you to create. So, folks, I'm going to leave it there. Good night so much to you, and thank you so much to Mr. Havis Badwill for his generous time and knowledge that he shared with us tonight. Good evening, everyone.